What's up? This is another Kipodcast. This time showing mixing tools inside of Ableton. You have things like EQ, Compressor. These are things that are very common to use in almost any process, even during the production, because you want to control the frequencies, the volume. So I'm gonna show these tools. Hope you like it. If you're here, comment, show me you're here. Oh, hello, Yeled Kaka, how are you? And let's start. So I'll go and dive in right to the software. You can see it bigger now. The first thing I will start with is something that's very used. And it's called EQ. Just for beginning, I don't know which level people come here and see this kind of videos, so I'll start with the most basic. In the audio effects of Ableton, you have all those effects that you could use. And you just drag them over here, put them inside of the channel. And that's it. Very intuitive, that's why I love Ableton. Now, with the EQ, what it does, let's play the sample I have over here. Without the EQ. With the EQ. What I'm using here is called a low cut. Basically, I cut with it the low frequencies of this sound. Just for a quick review of what is frequencies, and what is it basically. Each sound, you also heard that crow, each sound has a frequency to it. It has a spectrum from 20 till 20,000 K. And for example, the low frequencies of a sound would be from 20 till around 200. The mid-range, the low mid-range would be from 200 to 2K, and high mid would be 2K plus, and the most highs will be 10K and upwards. So with EQ, let's go back to the regular, how it would usually look like this. I would start usually with going with the low cut, taking some of the sounds there. And I will show you now how you can control it. You have also asked me questions like if something is not understandable, or if you want me to shoot that crow outside the window is fucking getting into my mic, just tell me. And I have this frequency. When we get it, man, we have this frequency. It's very understandable what it does. You can just push like this. It's like a filter effect. Are the crows part of it? I can record it and we can. Let me try, maybe I can catch it. I'm gonna take this thought. Wait, it stopped. Okay, now I'm gonna wait till the crow talks. Yeah, I'm recording. Okay, I think we got it. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I could have done a tutorial where everything is organized, but this is nature. Nature is want to take part in this tutorial, you know? So let's see what I got here. I'm gonna Press. Yeah, I have some jumps between the software because this button control both. We'll take care of that next time. So I got this. Here's the crow. Let's cut it up, cut him out. Okay, now I'm gonna wait till the crow starts. Yeah, I'm recording. Oh. Hey, I think we got this crazy crow. Let's see what we do with this. It's a good practice to show these tools. So, let's start with the EQ. Yeah, we're gonna get this entire family, man. I got... I think it would be better if I will just focus on this frequency and you'll hear what it is actually. In a recording, things under 100, like angels, is just mess. You see, it's just probably the room sounding and the echoes from all of the reverberations inside the room and outside, and the sound that my computer is doing, a door closing. I can get rid of that. This is the recorded crow. It's not a live crow. And now I will look for that frequency that I think I like in this crow. Hello, you can meet my girlfriend. How are you going? Have fun. Bye. Bye. This was this was my girlfriend. Now let's go back to the crow. Oh, I like this. Yeah, this is good. Now, I don't want to push it up too much in EQ. We're gonna do it... In EQ, it's better to lower out things and then hire what's good together, not to just like that. It would be too extreme for the here to take this frequency. So I'll just get rid first of the things I don't like. And this is a nice tool to find it. I just pop it up. You know, what's nice, I can do it either with this or just take it up. The Q here is what makes it wider. Like if it's lower, it's wider. It's higher. It's narrower. Forgot the word for it. Notch. It's called a notch. So here I don't like... the crow is here in the middle. So let's get rid of all of this with the low cut. What's nice, I can do a sharper low cut with the option here. You press here, +4, ×4. You saw it made it much sharper low cut. Okay, and let's put some... This is a high cut. I'm doing the same just from the other side. See, if I take too much of the high frequencies, the crow sounds much lower and farther. I like it like this. It sounds closer when I don't take those high frequencies. Cool. So I got my basic EQ for this. I can start working with it. I would regularly do some compressing before. Compressing is a very useful dynamic tool, which basically what it does is if you have a sound that its volume starts here and ends here, it would take those high peaks and take them down. So it would make the dynamic range of it much closer. That way it's easier. For example, imagine you hear vocal sounds, but sometimes he whispers and sometimes he screams. If the dynamic range is too far, you wouldn't hear him inside the mix. Like for some parts, the vocals would be too quiet inside of the mix, and some part they would be too loud. So a compressor would make the range a bit closer, although in vocals you would still want it to feel the dynamic range, because if you close it too much, the dynamic range, then it doesn't have that feeling. The music loses part of its feeling. So I just want to make here also the dynamic range shorter so I can rather play with it much more. Don't need this for now. This is the threshold. This is from which level of sound will it start pushing it up. And the way to work with these kind of tools, ask me questions because compression takes some time to get it, but we'll get there. If you push it, you should work with extremes in compressing because you want to hear what difference am I doing when I'm pressing these buttons. You know, if you just tick, 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 without any experience in how things should sound, without developing your ears for it, then you wouldn't know you're not using this tool correctly. So if I take down the threshold totally down, you can see all the sound is like smudged down. I'm gonna add some volume to it with a utility so you could hear it more. It's also how do I develop that? How do you develop your earring, like how you hear stuff? And with the utility, I can just push up the gains a bit. Wait, let me close it. Good, we can hear it more. Now when I have more volume, I know I can see there are more sounds that I can get rid of. Boom. And there's some frequency that's annoying me here. This one. And another one. Yeah. Hear that? Good. This is work enough. Again, this is something that was recorded with a crow coming from the window, the sound of it, into my room and just reflecting in this room, which you can hear has some nice annoying sound to it. I push the volume. Now, compressing. Back to your question. How to develop your hearing? Just play with these tools. That way you will understand more their effect on your sound, and your ear will become more sensitive to these changes. I feel now after featuring the Crow, and I feel like now after for the last 2 years I've been like working with compressing and EQ, that I got better at it and I can hear more, but I know I have much more to grow with it, and there are much more nuances that I always discover in it. And it's really also protecting your ears, not putting always on headphones or monitors on high volume, because then your ears will fatigue much faster and you might endanger your ears. So two things that I do is I make sure I don't put the volume too high for too long. You know, sometimes there are parts like you want to feel the beat more, so you put it up, but it's very tempting, but then you can't be in front of your production for too long. So it's good to know, okay, now I'm working on something more technical, lower the volume so you can work longer on it. Wait, let me stop this scroll for now. And you can work on it without worrying about hurting your ears. Then when you want to feel, okay, I worked on something that is complete, let's hear it more before I continue to the next stage of producing it. Then push it up, feel it, then lower it back. And the other thing I do is I take, I have, where is it? I have earplugs. So I guess it's very relevant for electronic music producers because I guess you want to make music for clubs, so you go to clubs and you hear what's going and you love that kind of vibe. But clubs can really fuck up your ears in the long term, especially if you go there a few times, stay a lot. There are many places where you could just get ones that would fit your ears, then you just stick it in. Sometimes I even put this in when I have headphones, because then I could feel still the volume, but without it pushing too much. I could feel still the song more, but without it pushing too much on my ears. But again, that's something I still do for a short-term period. So protect your ears and listen, do those tweaks, see what it does to your sound. Now, back to this compressor. I just push things really down to see, okay, this is what it does to the sound. No, I just want to take some of that. Yeah, let's start with that. Ratio. What ratio does is, as if going to back to learning math, is that ratio, let's say ratio 1 to 2, if I put it 2 to 1, like this, it means for every 2 decibels above my threshold, it would make it by half, like make it 1 decibel. If the ratio is 4 to 1, then it would make it quarter of a decibel. Like instead of going, like if it's the threshold is 1 decibel, like I said, 2 decibels above, then it would make it half a decibel. That's the highest it could be. Where did I tweak it? Here, you have these three most important. Here is basically the most important things for a compressor. You have the threshold, ratio, attack, and release. So let's hear it again. I don't want it to be too much compressed, for now at least. Right, TV's. Good, got it back. Now, the attack and release is when this effect of compressing the sound down, how long does it take? When does it take? How much time does it take till this effect comes in? And this attack and release are important to know because in many other effects you have these kind of things, attack and release time, and they will work basically the same. So if I put really low attack, like 0.01 milliseconds, then it will compress the sound right away. If I put it, I can put it in Ableton up to 1 second, then it will take 1 second until the sound will be compressed. I would, let's hear it. You can also see here in this yellow bar how the gain, the GR, the gain reduction works. And if I make the attack slower, it takes, you see, it's like, takes time until it comes in. And then it only affects the end part of the sound. Oh, hello, we have another friend here, On. How are you, On Vori? Let's put it somewhere around 100 milliseconds. And release, it's basically the same, just the other side, you know, when it comes in and when the effect of the compressing starts to release. And this is something very useful for, and I will show it later. Actually, I want to show it last time when I showed my set, called sidechain compressing. And you have this effect that could push, like for example, if you have a kick that influences pad. So it's happens a lot in electronic music where a kick comes in and then the pad volume gets up higher after the kick finishes. It's like, and the release is basically the time until what people would do is like make the attack once the kick comes in and then make a slow release so you would feel this kind of groove with it. Sidechain is the sinus and cosinus wave. I said before we're getting into the math part, but I never said I'm too good in math. Like maybe I was back then in high school. But yeah, they're kind of opposites in a way. And there are graphs that you could see basically how it affects. Especially in synthesizers, you would see, it would be more clear then. Maybe I could show you on a piece of paper. Let's see how it would look. It's all about improvisation. I'm making... Okay, it's visible. You have take time. Shut up, Craw. So you have the attack, release, and boom. The attack, I guess I should have done it the other way around, but fuck it. The attack is when it comes in, then you have the S, this is like the sustain, it's not relevant to a compressor, but maybe for synthesizers, and then you have the release after it comes down. I hope my visual, artistic ways explained it a bit more. So let's hear it again. And make up, lower this volume a bit. Okay, we've got this ra. Now, any questions about compressing? We'll get to sidechain later. It's a bit more developed, but it's also simple. Just want to get over with a few other tools here. And I have this auto filter, which basically works like an EQ, but in a more artistic way. Let's do it with a different sample. It's used a lot for automations. You know, you have a beginning of a song and then you're opening it up like this, as if you hear it inside of a club where you hear only the low end of a song, and when you enter, you start hearing more. So that's how you can open a song, for example, or make some kind of transition. But that's like the most basic use of it, so you can do much more things with it. Also, you have, again, this release button. You can control how it would sound. What is this question? So Eqing is mixing, compressing, is mastering. Regarding mixing and mastering, no, mixing, EQ and compressor are tools you use both in mixing and mastering for different causes. Mastering is a technical phase you do when you finish the mix of a song, everything is done, and you just want some mastering technician to put the sound level of everything in a way that then when you release it to MP3, to WAV, to streaming, to radio, to people listening on the phone, that it would sound good on all of them, and not just the way you mixed it in your own studio where you have high quality monitors and you have a good room. So mastering is basically pushing the sound level up in a way that you don't do in mix. In mix, I'm really making it explaining in the most simple way, but it means in mix you work more on the balancing of things and reverb and how things correlate with each other. And mastering is really the last 5% touch that makes it all on a professional standard level, that when I release a song, let's say I'm releasing a song in the hip hop genre, so I want it when someone is playing my song next to Kendrick Lamar's song, it might not sound as good as his, but you wouldn't hear some difference of levels. Like it would be natural that you hear this kind of beat and energy, and I don't need now to put on volume to hear the new song. That's what it means to do mastering, because then it means you have something that's on the same standard of contemporary music out on radio and popular. And mixing is working more specifically on EQing and mixing each channel, and mastering is on everything. A master technician gets just one track of all the song and he works on that. A mixer works on each channel separately: drums, bass, vocals. And back to the auto filter, you can make all kinds of automations to make this kind of effect of changing the sound. And we'll get to the automations later. And all kind of cool effects. Basically, I like to reveal this tool first so you could play on them yourself and see what you bring out of them. Because each tool is both a technical tool that you use for mixing and making sound fit together, but also tools that you can expand into using in a creative way, and not just something to just take care of the sound. So that's the kind of mind opening that I want to do. Now back to our crawl. Let's hear it. I want to show you the chorus. Chorus, it's also related to flanger, which is another audio effect you have in Ableton, is something that causes, you see, it's also written inside here, delay, modulation. Imagine you're taking your sound and you're passing it through delay effect that is then rerouted back into the original sound. So if you use it in a delicate way, it could give like another sonic level to your sound. Let's see what it does here. See, if I take it really to the edge of it, it just twirls all the delays and effects on it. Okay. Interesting. Sounds weird, but maybe it can be workable. It's like as if a swoop of a wing. This is sound more robotic in a way. Now, what I would like to do with this kind of sound, I would open a new channel just to check it out. I would take another channel, and in the audio from, you have exit in, I change it to resampling. What resampling does is it takes anything that you hear on Ableton and record it. It's a really nice way to quickly record what you're doing and then rework on it. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, I pressed here so it would get in. I will just close my microphone so the microphone won't link into this resample. Okay, so that way I can play on a few things and then, okay, I have now I have it now as audio, and I could use it and see what I can develop with that. So I can split those parts. Rename it. Yeah, it has something very MIDI in it. When you take things to the extreme in Ableton, it sounds a bit MIDI, but then it sounds as if nostalgic. Okay, so now I have these two samples I took from this sound. Now, I'm gonna choose, I think, this one. And I'm gonna put it inside a simpler. We love the simpler. Let's make insert MIDI track because we need the simpler on a MIDI track. And it's in instruments. Boom. I'm gonna put it here. See, I took the sample, and now when I'm in classic mode, each time I play a note, it's as if each note controls the tone of it. So it's not that it doesn't go off key because the sound doesn't have a real tone. It's not like I started with C and now it's on it. You could take sounds and make it fit that, then you take just a violin. Like that's what I did with this sound. It's basically, I took just one part where all the instruments are holding a sound. Are these still? Well, this? No, these are not the crows. This is this. No. Oh, I have all these effects on, so it fucks it up. But oh, I'm sorry for that. It just toward. This is Achzor. Though no, this is Lev Shalem. Achzor is something else. I mean, I took that sound to sample it, but it's from Lev Shalem, and I just took this one part where the instruments are playing one long note, and then I put it on simpler, and I could use it. But it was a bit more complicated than that, because when I put just that sound and try to, you see here, I can take and choose where I take that sound, like I give it limits. But if you look closely, I don't know if you can see, so it's as if it's mirrored. You see this Feel here is also the same here. I basically took that sound and put it again and then put it on reverse. So that part I wanted to use in my simpler, I wanted, that's what I did. I took the sound, the part I want, and then put it on reverse and then took both of them. That way the sound sounds as if it's never ending and it doesn't have volume glitches. And those volume changes are actually, they sound natural because this is the dynamic range you would sound in a violin kind of part. Where was I with the crows? Smart. So yeah, it's really a lot tweaking and thinking, how do I stick these sounds together so it would work for me? One consecutive sound from start to finish, I guess. Now, back to the simpler. This is what I meant with a craw. Okay. So you see, I took from this weird craw I recorded, put it in a simpler, and then each octave I'm playing this, I could take to something different, you know? Like for this sound, what I'm thinking is I could connect it with a drum part, and each time a kick comes in, this sound would come maybe in reverse, maybe I could re-record it. And then and this sound could be more like kind of effect that's coming sometime. Or maybe I could just take that end part because it's kind of nice. And this one, it sounds as if some kind of hi-hat, not hi-hat, but some kind of thing that you could use as a high percussive sound. Okay. Who would have guessed? Okay, let's start with that. Okay, I'm putting less more. Yeah, exactly. It does sound of less sound. Now this is always going on. What I could do? Let's take. Do I have a drum part here? Yeah, that could work. let's take a gate. I wanted to show you a gate. I think it could work nice with this. The gate, I want to show the sidechain compression, but also I'll show the sidechain option on the gate, but it works the same in compressor. You take the gate effect, you press here this arrow down, then comes arrow right, and you have sidechain option. You press it, and then you have an option to take audio from. That's what's nice with just using the native plugins inside of Ableton, because it's so easy to connect between them. I'll take from drums, and then it opens me the option. Yeah, I have lots of drums, so it's going to be hard to find it. But I can look for that sound of kick. Let's see which kick I'm using. I think this one. I would know. Here I have it. Hear it? Each time the kick comes in, it opens up this gate and the sound from my sample comes out. If I have also option to flip it here. And now this kind of effect I can use in both ways with this flip button. And for example, the verse, put it like this. And then when I come to chorus, I can just press a button. Any questions about that? Because now I want to take this other sound and work with that too, see what I can make out of that. And let's duplicate it. Let's close the gate. How would you link the sound to the drum pad again? Okay, yeah, I got this gate here. I press here, open the sidechain option. Then audio from. When I press drums, it opens me all the sounds I have on my drums. So it was easier for me to find it once the songs play, because I have a few kicks on it. And then I was like, here's the kick that's working. I can see on the green bars where it's pushing. This is my sound. And then you have option pre-effects, post-effects, post-mixers. What it means is, do you want the sound to sidechain without its effects in pre-effects, post-effects with the effects you already put it, or post-mixer? Post-mixer means with the sound level after you took down the volume. Usually, I would put it post-effects, because during a process of working on a project, I might change the volume of stuff, but then I don't want it to influence everything I sidechained it with. So I would leave it either in post-effects or pre-effects, really depends on what kind of stuff I put on it. Because post-mixer might cause you issues later if you're change really the volumes of stuff. And it's something, this kind of post-pre is something you also have in your sends and other effects. And you also have, if you take audio from a different channel, just so you know what it means, the pre-effects, post-effects, and how it would influence your sound and workflow. Each situation you would do something else. So I got this sound here. I would do this resampler thing again, you know? I would play different notes that I could check, and then I would go over the resample and be like, okay, this is the sound that I like. Because again, because these things are not really note rooted. It's not like I'm playing piano and this is do, this is C, this is D, this is A. So it's a bit unpredictable. That's why I would just play on everything and then choose what I like. And now I'm showing kind of work of process that might seem, it's not as if I just record something and build up on it. It's really playing with it, resampling. It's fun if to do it casually, you know. It's not something that I'm now on the rush to intuitively play another melody on it. It's really an exploration. So you have different kind of workflows for each way, and you will find it yourself what kind of thing works for you. Sounded like Optimus Prime, yeah. Actually, you could record yourself and just lower the octaves and also sound kind of like that. Let's put it on resample again. Oh, no effects, resampling. Oh, you see, I need to put this arm exclusive off, and then I can press it, and it will record. I need to stop my vocals. So I'm gonna, no, I need to play without other instruments. Although I can do it differently. I can now just take the audio, not as resampling, but take it, let's give it a nicer name. Low crow, mid crow. Very original. Now, I can take the audio specifically from this mid crow channel, and then whatever I play here would be recorded as an audio on this channel, which later I could put on a mix, or either on a simpler or just combine those sounds to something that I like. And also, since it's not resampling, I can hear the drum, like the part I made. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, couldn't be heard like that. So what I'm doing is I took this recorded audio and I got these parts where I can just slice it off and see what I like in it. Okay, I like this part. Well, I'm going to inside. Why don't you let me cut it? Hmm. Stick it like this. Okay, let's take these parts. What I did is I took those parts, connected them together. I want now to consolidate them with Command J. What I did is basically took those parts, make them into one clip. Then what I would do is press Command Shift F. Nope. These buttons work all together. Show fades. I will take this intro bit out, the outro out. I don't need this. Let's hear it. Okay. Oh, there's some kind of percussive roll I could put as well. So I'll go back to this one. You see I did some fader that basically control the volume. I'll need to consolidate it again. Would save it like that. Cool. Then I would press here, loop. So once I put it in session view, it would return upon itself. Let's call it micro percussive. Okay, now this sound, go back to these mixing tools I've showed. Just want some EQ on it because it gets a bit high and annoying there. La 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 la. You with me? Okay. So let's go back to our cross sample. Let's see. We could still use him for some use. I would close all this stuff. Okay. Back to the crow. What do I want to do with him? What do you want to do with the crow? Let's make him the singer of this song, you know? I want to... Okay. I would also take it. Have them sing a song. Let's try that. I can play with the tone of this other one and make it sound a bit on a different scale. So we got these crows singing to each other, and this might not be a chart-topping song yet, but it's just to show you how easy it could be to make a chart-topping song with these tools. Let's go back to that sound with the crows. No, this is not the one I was talking about. Yet, yes. What I will do is Control J this shit out. Put it here. also put it on loop. Give it some memorable name like Crow Rap or Crap for sure. And let's hear it again. Let's give it some more. Now I would use the gate in a different way. I want the low sound of just the background to be out. Okay. Well, this was an interesting crow rap kind of style that we just made on the spot because he just kicked in into our session. But I hoped in the process of making the crow into the next fucking Kendrick Lamar, you've discovered a bit more about how to use these kind of tools and how creative you can go with it. And we went a bit farther than just EQs and compressors and like simplers, which I like to use, and resampling and just meshing sounds together and tweaking it in the way I could work with. Um, I hope you liked it. If you do, then give me a like, comment what's good, what could be better, subscribe. Kendrick Cromar, yes. I should. I might manage this one. And this has been Kipod in my own Kipodcast. I still haven't found my signature move for an outro. Yes, if you've been listening carefully, and I will also make some kind of another, like I did for my last video, some timestamp guide, so you don't really have to see the whole hour plus video. You can just look for what's relevant for what you're looking for. And I hope that would be good for you and help you in your way to become whatever you want to become. See ya.